Hello everyone, welcome to my first weather video on YouTube. I am Weatherman Mario, and today we'll be talking about my official winter forecast for this winter season. So will it be frosty and fun-filled, or will it be warm and dry for you? Let's find out. So we'll talk about four things: my upcoming winter patterns, my official winter forecast, and other people's forecasts. We'll just kind of compare, and then my final thoughts, what I think will happen this upcoming winter. But before I share my forecast, we need to talk about the upcoming winter patterns and how they'll affect this upcoming winter. So the first one is the El Nino, which is where ocean surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean are, 0.5 degrees Celsius or higher, which can cause warmer and dry conditions to the north and wet and cool conditions to the south. Also with that polar jet stream, being, into Canada for most of the season, in a subtropical jet stream, going in the south, we can really expect much wetter conditions in the south and above normal temperatures in the north. Now there's going to be two storm tracks that, it's likely going to happen. One in the central, and then obviously one in the south. But as we are transitioning into an El Nino, the storm track for now will be in the north, where they will see, snow. So, it's growing right now, and by the time we get to winter, it'll be a strong El Nino, which generally means more precipitation and cold air to the south, and the north will see drier and warm conditions, but not always, as they can be different each year. And the subtropical jet stream will be a major play this winter, and not so much the polar jet stream. Speaking of polar, we're going to talk about the polar vortex next. So there's two things regarding the polar vortex. I mean, obviously it's, that cold air that gets sent into the United States, especially in the north. So your stable polar vortex, if the jet stream is strong and the polar vortex is stable, then that cold air gets contained into Canada and the North Pole. But if it gets wavy and weak, and there's a weak jet stream, then it will go all the way down to the United States. And with that warm air, it'll move north and cause, big winter storms to occur. So while it's hard to predict this far out, there has been growing trends that the polar vortex may collapse and weaken this upcoming winter season. So what that means is that much colder air will enter the United States, while warmer air from the south will push north, creating big winter storms. And the El Nino this winter will lead to a higher chance for a polar vortex collapsing to happen. Now, I think it's similar to a polar vortex, but it's somewhat different. It's called the Greenland block. Those, especially down in the south, should know what this is because we experienced this a couple weeks ago, if not a few. It's basically how this works. There are two blocking high pressures, one in Alaska and one in Greenland. Usually cold air kind of travels like this. It goes into the northern to eastern tier of the United States, completely skipping the south. However, since there's a blocking high, it can't go this way. So it's forced to go all the way down to the southern tier of the United States. It'll affect 2/3 of the country, west will remain warm. So, it is definitely a possibility that we do see this happen this winter, especially in the second half of winter. Expect Arctic air to infiltrate the United States, and also expect more snow, especially in the eastern half of the USA. These can vary, but they can last up to 2 weeks as well. Now, let me go ahead and show some graphs now. So, this is your classical El Nino setup. So you got, your above average temperatures, upper Midwest, Northeast, Northwest, Pacific Northwest, kind of your, warm temperatures, while down in the south, it's, trending to be cooler during this winter season. This is 2009-2010's winter season. And we could see really similar winter, Um, then we're gonna look at the total snowfalls amounts from this winter season. So, like Texas, you saw anywhere from an inch all the way up to 2 feet of snow. Um, Even Florida saw like a couple inches, which is interesting. Northeast got pummeled by, those big winter storms and nor'easters. Not so much snow in the north here. They saw below normal snowfall. There's like 2, 3 feet of snow, maybe 4 or 5, which is below average. Mountains saw, your mountain snow. So we could see something similar to this happen this upcoming winter season. And then going to Texas, in north central Texas, we could see something similar to this. It's like forward saw 17.1 inches of snow. Bowie saw up to 2 feet of snow, which is 25 plus inches. Waco saw 3.7, or just anywhere around 3 to 5 inches, which it's a lot. And there were several winter storms for Texas during this winter season. And I think we could definitely see something very similar to it occur, this upcoming winter. So here's my forecast. Just wanted to speed through that because I know that's not the most entertaining part. But now we're gonna get into the fun stuff. So we'll start with the temperature anomaly, then the precipitation anomaly, then snowfall, and then finally the main forecast. So we're going to talk about the temperature, which as you saw earlier, above normal in the north, below normal in the south. That is thanks to the subtropical jet stream and the El Nino. And because of how many storms will be in the south, they'll bring colder temperatures to the south, while the north won't see a whole lot of storms. And I really do think that these areas in that dark blue have a pretty good chance of seeing below normal temperatures. So that's going all the way from some parts of the southwest going into some parts of the deep south, southeast, and even into Florida. So, right, the precipitation outlook generally going to be below normal, slightly below normal if you are in the north. Precipitation outlook, it's generally going to be slightly above normal for a lot of these areas, and that is because of the subtropical jet stream, especially if you are in, the deep south going into south tier of the southeast and into some parts of Florida because, you guys don't really see snow anyways, at least not in the dark green, and see more, the rainstorms. So I definitely do think that those areas will see, beneficial rains because I know the drought conditions are really bad, especially for those who are in like Louisiana, for example, or Texas even. I know the drought conditions are pretty bad, so this upcoming winter season should definitely help them out. Okay, snowfall outlook. So it's below normal in the north because the El Nino and the polar jet stream generally going to be taking a miss until later on, at least anyways. I marked the northeast as above normal, as well as, generally the south. Northeast because we could see big winter storms from the Greenland block. Remember, I said that there would be a good chance of the eastern half seeing, above normal. Then you got your nor'easters, your classical nor'easter track like that in the Atlantic. And then southern tier because of the El Nino. And yeah, the Greenland block will usher in the south. Well, that's not really a good area, but anyways, will usher in colder air And what will that do is if it gets cold enough because of the polar vortex, if it collapses in the Greenland block, if it really gets that cold, we could really see big snowfall amounts for those areas in the blue. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about my winter forecast. So warm and dry in the northwest and Pacific Northwest because you're not going to see that polar jet stream as much, and uh, most of the storm track's going to be in the central and southern tier of the United States. So I don't think this is really going to be a good season for you guys if you are in the northwest. All right, wet at times if you are in the southwest because of that subtropical jet stream. Guaranteed that you guys are going to see rain on and off and even cool conditions at times. Because again, that storm track is going to be kind of, there's that one storm track, and then you got your central storm track, so definitely will be seeing rain for sure. Alright, normal mountain snow. I know you guys saw snow already, and we got big snow coming for you guys. Yeah, models do indicate that we could kind of keep seeing this pattern going for y'all. Even cold temperatures as well. I've seen some pretty cold temperatures looking into the future of, uh, the year and the season. It looks to be, pretty active winter season for you guys. And that's thanks to the El Nino. So I think if you are in the light blue, it's going to be a really good skiing season for y'all. Just generally because it's going to be pretty snowy this winter season. Alright. So snowy at first, then cold later for the northern tier. Because again, the El Nino is still setting up, so we'll see storm tracks that still coming from the north. And then you'll have your polar vortex and Greenland block occurs, so that could also kind of dip, which is why I say snowy at first and then cold later. But don't expect a whole lot of snowfall this winter season. Maybe a couple feet, if anything. Unless you're in the lakes areas, then you'll probably see more. But otherwise, I don't expect a whole lot of snow if you are in this purple region. Just kind of more cold, if anything. Well, cold, quote unquote, because it's going to be warmer than average, and there could be more ice storms in this purplish region. All right, in the dark blue, I do expect snowy conditions. However, it's going to be a temperature roller coaster because again, you're kind of part of that main storm track. So what that means is that you're going to get pummeled with, a lot of storms, and temperatures are going to quickly rise, and then, not rise and decrease into colder temperatures. It's going to be kind of weird this winter season, I think, but you guys are definitely going to be seeing a pretty active snowy season as well because of that subtropical jet stream. Alright, so again, I'm going to say this again, big nor'easters because the eastern half of the United States are going to see above average snowfall because of that Greenland block and that classical pattern. Definitely could see, big winter storms this upcoming winter season for those areas. And wouldn't shock me if we see at least a couple of big nor'easters. But winter storms for sure will affect those areas. Alright. In the pink, we got winter precipitation. A couple of big winter storms. And I definitely do think that the subtropical jet stream, you got your track going like this. And if we have that Greenland block and polar vortex breakout, it will go all the way down into the, United States, going to the southern tier. And if it gets that cold, yes, we could see a couple of big winter storms. So, you'll see your ice for sure, and you'll see snow. Probably, depending where you're at. But I think pretty good chance if you're in this pinkish region, for seeing, snow. So, and then if you're in this green area, you'll just see cool mid conditions. Generally, these areas are too warm for it to snow. I think there could be an exception, like for example in Houston, Texas. I think we could see something happen down there, but we could see like maybe a little bit of a snowflakes or two, but nothing major as part to like Dallas Fort Worth. Generally, those areas don't really see too much snow at all, so you guys will see more uh, rainy conditions. So what I'm expecting, again, it'll help with the drought conditions, and I think it'll be, very beneficial for this upcoming winter season. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about other people's forecasts, and we'll just compare. I'll just let y'all know what I think. So here's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration's forecast. This was issued almost about a month ago. So as you can kind of see, the north is above average, which is on par to my forecast. Now for, the south, they just say it's going to be normal temperatures, which is fine. I do think that we'll see slightly below normal for sure, just because of that continuous patterns of low pressures affecting these areas. So, that's why I think that. And then their precipitation forecast is pretty similar to mine, but not quite. Or let's say slightly below normal in the north, some, below normal. But generally, the south will see guaranteed above average precipitation, especially if you're in the southeast. Going to Florida, you have a pretty good chance. So, this is kind of similar, but some things are off. So, Alright, we'll talk about AccuWeather stuff now. So, AccuWeather's temperature outlook. Again, with the north, I think you can kind of see a trend here above normal temperatures in the north, while those in the south will see a little bit below normal, ranging from the southwest going into some parts of the deep south like Dallas, Fort Worth, going into Memphis and Charlotte. Those areas are going to see it. Los Angeles, you guys are going to see cold temperatures, or well, below normal, I wouldn't say cold. So, that's the temperature. The heating demand is going to be way more active this winter season down the south, while it's going to be not so much in the north, because again, it's above average temperatures. Alright, so the snow departures. So this is kind of like the snow outlook. So generally, the south and a little bit of the northeast. It's kind of similar to mine. Not really. You got your mountains right here. Your northeasters right here. Then generally, all these areas will see above normal snowfall because of that subtropical jet stream. And then, not so much in the north here, where we'll see well below normal precipitation, or not precipitation, but snowfall, well below normal snowfall. And then ski forecast, as I said, best chances are going to be right in the mountains here. So if you are, in the mountains, or if you're not, then I recommend going to visit these areas to go ski instead. It will not be so great if you are in like Minneapolis, Minnesota, or in the Pacific Northwest. Alright, then we're going to talk about the Farmer's Almanac. So, it's kind of similar. I mean, this is off. I didn't say this, I said it would be warm and dry. Cold average snowfall. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of close, but it's also not really not. Cold and stormy. Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say that's close. Cold and snowy, yup. Because I saw the nor'easters. Chilled and wet, yup. Because I said it's going to be cool and wet in these areas. Maybe some winter precipitation. Unseasonably cold and stormy. Yep, because of that subtropical jet stream. And finally, the winter temps and seasonably stormy. Yep. So, and now we're going to talk about this one. This one I don't really agree with at all. Like, I mean, I can kind of get some areas like down here, down in these areas, but not in these areas. I don't think you guys are going to be seeing a cold and snowy winter just because of what the data has been showing us for this upcoming winter. Now, this is right over here though. We are going to be seeing above average temperatures in the northeast, but we also will be seeing snowy, conditions. Um, it's sort of right over here, except I would have put uh, you know, warm, and then right over here, cool and wet. That's right. Um, I wouldn't really say mild. I would say more cool, if anything. But they did get the wet part right. So yeah, so we'll kind of see what ends up happening this winter. So my final words. So this winter, as you saw, is definitely going to be a different winter compared to the previous winters that we've had. More precipitation, which includes snow, is expected in the south, while the north is expected to be warm and dry. We will see what happens this winter season. Definitely going to be an interesting one, I think. So here are the resources that I used. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, have a good day.